Hi, you guys. This is Rachel here, the Modern Shaman. Thanks for joining me again for this week's Q&A video here on YouTube. If you're new to this channel, I always say welcome. I would love for you to visit my website. That's themodernshaman.net. There's a lot of great resources if you'd like to work with me one-on-one for sessions. My online booking calendar is there on my website, as well as any masterclass teaching curriculum. If you'd like to go further beyond this free content here on my YouTube channel, I have classes that are much more in depth on psychic development, shamanic development, as well as spiritual entrepreneurship, if you'd like to use your gifts and take that into a career full-time. Also, on my website, I have a new page devoted to events because I had such success with the events that we were holding here at my house. We've done shamanic journeys, we've done soul retrievals, we've done sound baths in the pool. It's been a really phenomenal space since I built this house to share it with so many of you. So I have had a heart and desire to continue the events. And this summer I have a new series on the new moon that is kind of a co-creating energy. And we are focused on doing shamanic journeys in the starlight. And each of the months have focused intentional connections. So the month of June, we are journeying in order to connect with the star people and our cosmic alignment. So it will be a beautiful shamanic journey that I guide with my drum and rattle, where we are laying out under the stars. Space is limited because it's my courtyard area, which works just like a portal. Someone said that at the soul retrieval, and I was like, that is so true, because it's open to the night sky, but it's protected with the house around it. So it's a very safe internal space that lets in the energy of the cosmos. So anyway, if you're interested in checking out the events that are coming up this summer, we also have a summer solstice event. All of that is on the events page on my website. Again, that's themodernshaman.net, so check it out. Okay, here's the question this week that you all sent in. It says, Rachel, I was so inspired by your video about what your family eats and how you integrate the shamanic lifestyle into your everyday life. I am a new mom, and I was hoping you might give me some practical advice on how to have that type of shamanic lifestyle integrated into a modern family life. Yeah. You know, I love this question because this is like the core of this question is about how do I integrate my spiritual beliefs into my everyday life. And that is pivotal for being able to feel harmonious, balanced, and integrated, to really truly live out and not feel like your spiritual life or your sacred life is held for just ceremonies or Sunday mornings at church. And then the rest of the week you're out and you feel frazzled and chaotic and lost, and that piece of your spiritual connection is not integrated into those things. So this is a pivotal and really foundational, that the way that you live out your beliefs have roots that take hold into the everyday aspects of your life. So it's not just like, again, that you're spiritual when you do your yoga practices or when you do your meditations, but then when it comes to picking up kids, running carpool, making dinners, doing stuff like that, it's just the monotony of every day, and you're in this work mindset that doesn't feel integrated, except for like, oh, I'm a kind person. But your spiritual practices are not harmonious, so you don't really feel like you're living it out wholeheartedly. You feel like you're segmenting yourself and you're living this fragmented expression of who you truly are. So this is a beautiful question. I love it for that reason. And I will tell you how I have integrated or learned to integrate myself as a shaman into my everyday life, into my family life in particular, because that's what you asked about. And congratulations that you are a new mom. I think that there is nothing more beautiful than the energy of the mother, whether it is a literal human mother, whether we are animal parents, whether we mother others with the way that we share online. We share our heart. We welcome everyone into our bosom, and we love with that sense of unconditional care. There are so many aspects of the mother that are so deeply ingrained in our higher heart. So I love that. Okay. So one of the things that I would suggest that you integrate is the roles in your household. So the ancients had a practice, the ancient indigenous, in many different cultures around the globe, of the totem pole, right? And it looks different depending on where you are, if you're in the Pacific Islander versus if you are Native American. But they had this perspective of going through different aspects of our life, childhood, young adulthood, and we have these kind of archetypes. Now, in the ancient native communities, these were personified with animals, right? You may be a bear, or you may like your animal totem, right? These are personified aspects of your life at that time, and oftentimes the animal shows up like a literal omen and guide in your life. Well, these are also representative of kind of the responsibility or the theme of that time period in our life. And those can be characterized as roles, not unlike roles in the family, not unlike roles in the workplace. We all have roles that we fulfill. So this is one of the ways that I integrate kind of that ancient perspective into our everyday family life. We all start when the kids are little with the role of the explorer, okay? And depending on the personality of your child, they're going to explore in different ways. They may very literally be the bear. They may be the hawk. They may be the spider. But there is an aspect that their role is really just to explore life, to toddle around, to figure things out, to just be inquisitive and curious, and that's what they're expected to do. Really nothing more than that, because they haven't learned more than that. That's the kind of the beginning and the first phase of the animal totem. Now, the way that role works in our family is that they're not given a lot of responsibilities other than to kind of keep themselves safe in what is the exterior, or what are the parameters in which they can explore. Right? So not sticking the fingers in the outlet, not going outside after a certain hour. There are limitations to the exploration based on what we feel is right for the household. The second role that they come into is the learner. And this is when they start school. And oftentimes this is also characterized with an animal. Children love this because they relate to the understanding of animals. And so we bring them in, whether it's, literally having stuffed animals in their room. I mean, my kids had their stuffed animals. They chose the animal, or oftentimes the animal chooses them and shows up. And we kind of reiterate that as they are the learner, whether it's the bookworm or whether it is the perceptive eagle, picking up every little detail of what they're learning, or whether it is the kangaroo and the jackrabbit, which was Talia, my youngest. Is just like jumping around all the time. The third phase is the leader, and this comes within the role when they turn 16. Typically, it's a coming of age, and we have one of our kiddos that is coming of age literally this week. He's turning 16, and we have his vision quest in a couple weeks because I had to reserve that spot, the camping spot at the Texas State Park. But essentially he will go away for 3 days and fast and pray for a vision for his life. And there are aspects to that ceremony that if you're interested in, I can share with you, but that's a whole nother video because that's a lot of depth into that vision quest for him. But it's important as children start to take on their responsibility that they shift, and that everyone around them recognize and honor and value that shift, that they are no longer a child, that they are viewed as a leader in the household. Part of what shifts there is our family meetings. We have tribal meetings or family meetings once a week, and they begin to shift, and so they take on the role and they can become part of kind of our elders. So I'll talk a little bit about our family meetings after I go through the roles. But once they take on that leader role, that is the eldest role in the child community, to where they are a leader of the younger children, where they have access to being a part of the elder meetings, the parent meetings. They're in those they're a decision maker and a contributing vote to what we do as a parent. So they kind of have access to know what's going on just beyond the child realm of learning. This includes like household finances. This includes, making plans, like bigger plans, vacations, or things that we do on a larger household kind of dynamic. My role is the shaman and spiritual guide and kind of leader. It's again kind of a motherly role to set the tone, whether I am doing my meditations every day and I invite the kids in with me. Sometimes they do, sometimes I don't. I invite my husband in with me. Sometimes he does meditate with me, sometimes he doesn't. The same with the prayers, and kind of guiding and monitoring the dynamics of the household meetings and all of this, planning and so forth. And then my husband's role is that of the warrior, which is the protector, the provider. Now, these roles are not gender-based. It's just, and they can shift. But essentially, they are kind of the totem foundation for the way we understand our family working. Now, if you don't have these clarified for your family, then oftentimes there's a lot of chaotic, like the kids don't know who to turn to for what. They don't know how to step into a sense of self or personal identity. So even if the identity changes, right, and you go from one totem being personified by the bear, who's just cuddly and huggy, but also kind of like, tough and rough. This was my middle child, Joaquin. To being, more of eagle. And when you're learning, you are picking up all of the details. You're watching everything much more in the energy of the observer than the participator. As you shift and you mature and you grow and you choose another totem, you're always welcome to do so, to stack that in. And when that kind of becomes known to the family, there's an aspect of everybody recognizing that your identity is shifting and you are wanting to claim that or take responsibility for that. It seems small, but I find that this is important for people to help understand what they're contributing and what they're expected to contribute. When people don't have responsibilities in that way, they tend to get lazy, or they tend to feel like my contribution doesn't matter. When you know that you have requirements, then you feel a sense of value to your contribution in the tribe or the family or the community. Now, I like tribe because our family is a blended family. Many of y'all know that I got married and shared that with you all in that process. But so we have 5 kiddos, and so there's a larger dynamic, and then there's a larger dynamic with my ex and his family, and so it is a larger tribe. And so many of our modern families are like that. It is more of our tribe. Sometimes it's not blood relation that we consider our tribe or our family. So it's just a larger umbrella to bring everyone in. So we have weekly tribal meetings, and we have weekly contributions or chores that are required. Every person has their chores every day. One of those things that they have to do is they have to, as a kiddo in the household, we have 3 still living with us and 2 that are not living with us. But one that comes home, he's in college right now, and he'll come home in the summers and things, so he gets a day of the week when he comes. But one day of the week, each kid, even when they're young, is considered the leader of that day, which means they plan the meals, they execute the meals, so they help me cook. I help, but they help me cook. And then they clean up after themselves, and then they're in charge of kind of the family discussion, whether it's a game or it's a conversation topic or it's leading the prayers and the meditations for that day. They are in charge of kind of being the leader of that day. And even as an adult, we also get a day. So my day is on Thursdays. And so Thursdays we have weekly meetings, which is something that I oversee. And this is where we share what we feel like we have done well that week. And we call it Kid of the Week. And each of the kids shares what they feel like they need to work more on, like if they were argumentative that week or whatnot, and what they feel like they did well. And that's kind of just a practice to advocate for yourself, to be able to say, look, I worked really hard on this today, whether it was a moral victory or an academic victory, or a physical feat, you know, whether my youngest daughter is a cheerleader, so she'll say she just got her round off 2 back handsprings, so that was hers that she shared this week. I just got that, and she's really excited. So whatever it is that they advocate for themselves in that family meeting, and then we take a vote as elders who we feel like was the most exemplary that week, and it kind of gets the Kid of the Week. We actually got a trophy for it eventually, so there's like a little trophy we bought on Amazon, and that person gets the little $5 trophy or whatever. But it's more so to have a sense of recognition that we notice the stuff that you're doing, even if it's just being on time every day for school. Some of those things kind of go unrecognized. So it's our moment to have a meeting, check in with one another, say what we need to work on, say what we're doing well. And when we vote, that's one of the meetings that shifts when you turn 16 and you become of age and move into a leader. You no longer get part of the role as one of the kids. You are on the side of the elders, and so you will receive and listen to what they say and be part of the voting community to kind of encourage the kids to keep on their path. The responsibilities and chores also get bigger because you become an overseer of the younger siblings finishing their chores and making sure that they remember them and that sort of thing. I think that these kind of household dynamics of what we do to integrate help more with understanding and listening and realizing that our spiritual path is one of our own personal development. It's not just the development of the spirit. It's the soul living out through a body. So it's going to be inclusive of all of the things that we're doing in our regular life. And that's how we try to integrate it and recognize one another with all the ways that we're growing or working on. And I hope that that's helpful to you, that you can take any little tidbits of what we do in our household and utilize it in ways that may bless you and your family. Okay, I'm going to sign off here. I'll be back next week with another video. Bye, you guys.